बजता तेरा गीत निरंतर सांसों के तारों में हर पल बजता तेरा गीत निरंतर तेरे अनहद नाद की धुन अब गूंजे हर पल मन के नाद की धुन अब गूंजे हर पल मन के भीतर मन को पंख दे कैसे रोके ना रुक पाता है इस मन को पंख दे कैसे रोके पाता तुमसे मिलने की चाहत में मन मिलों तक उड़ जाता है मन मिलों तक उड़ जाता है जब तुमसे मन जुड़ जाता है।
Om Shanti. Welcome again for next beautiful session with Brother Yogesh. And Brother Yogesh look after the service in Turkey and based in Istanbul. And he is with Baba for 35 plus, if I'm right, or 40 plus. Sorry, 40 plus. And he came to Baba when he was in London. And he has been sustained by Dadi Janki and Jayanti Ben and many other seniors, and also from Madhuban. So he has a long connection with Yagya, and he's bringing the wealth of experience with him. And today he's going to explore the topic of the power of benevolence feeling and spiritual love. And he's going to share for 30 minutes. And later on, Brother Damon, he's from Australia, and he's with Baba for 20 plus year, and he's also bring his own wealth of experience and to dig deeper, and he's going to ask question later on after Brother Yogesh shared for 30 minutes. Okay, now I give the stage to them. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti and good morning. So thanks for the chance to share a few thoughts, ideas and experiences about this topic which I feel is very central to all of us in this Brahmin life, and probably the main experience which attracts us to this life and keeps us in this life is this experience of spiritual love and the wonder of benevolent feelings that we experience as we continue on this journey. I was just sitting in Baba's room here for traffic control 10:30, and lots of sisters and brothers from the visiting group, the Bharatwasi group, were coming in for 2-3 minutes, going out. And I was just looking at Baba's picture, Baba's face, and the feeling like, Baba's arms were wide open. And Baba was saying, come, come, whoever you are, however you are, come, this is your home. And I felt this is spiritual love. that feeling of complete acceptance. And the wonder is that we have seen this year after decade, how that spiritual love has continued to flow from the source through dadis and senior brothers, and it continues. And what is Madhuban? But Madhuban is a symbol, of Baba's heart. Madhuban represents the culture of this life, which is to uplift, to serve, to help. And these are all forms of spiritual love. And I was recalling my first time here. I was about 15 years old. And that was back in December 1982. And so in those days, we used to come by jeep from Abu Road all the way up to Pandav Bhavan, through the gates of Pandav Bhavan. And the jeep stopped right outside what used to be Dadiji's office. And there was a hand-painted sign there. Sweet children, welcome to Bap Dada's home, your home. And that's the first thing I saw as soon as I hopped out of the jeep, was this sign. And I just felt so elated, such a feeling of acceptance and belonging. And then of course that whole trip, it was just very symbolic of what spiritual love is. Because when you're 15 years old, you're no longer a child, but not yet an adult. You're in an in-between stage. So other people are confused. How should you handle this guy? Right? Because he's not, they can't do this to you and say, hello, how are you? Because you're no longer a kid. But also, they can't have a deep intellectual conversation with you because it goes over your head. So other people are confused, and they quickly tend to say hi and bye because they are confused. And as a 15-year-old, you can feel a little bit, in your own world. But when I was in Madhuban that time, I just felt so much soul-conscious love and respect coming from the Madhuban Nivasis. It wasn't like a put-on love and respect trying to make me feel good. But they were really seeing me as a soul. And I felt that so deeply, soul-conscious respect, soul-conscious love. And the thought came that I should be like these people. These are the best people I've met so far. And they became my heroes. Those who surrender so completely to Baba and take care of a place where the whole world comes and experiences God's presence. And so even till today, I feel like I'm a Madhuban Nivasi but not in Madhuban. And the reason I'm not is because I find other people to come here. And anyway, Baba has told us that our permanent address is Pandav Bhavan Madhuban, and wherever else we may be, it is a service station. So spiritual love there, that's the power of spiritual love seen in practical form, accommodating so many and giving them that feeling of belonging. And other scenes coming to mind, how that spiritual love has been manifest through our dadis and other senior brothers and so on. The thing I've noticed is that when the ego is out of the way, the only thing that comes out from a soul is pure love, which is spiritual love, love in its spiritual form. And so there have been instances when I've been in the room, when some guest or IP or even some VIP, a well-established, a well-accomplished person, has come in the room to meet with one of the dadis, and usually it was Dadi Janki, as I had most experience with her. So some guy would come in carrying his accomplishments in his head and little bit, the hat of ego. 10 minutes later he leaves the room like a 6-year-old boy with a piece of candy. Oh, I got a toli. Oh, this is my blessing. And I think, what happened to this person? 10 minutes ago he came in full of awareness of his accomplishments, his position, his status, and he leaves like a little boy. What just happened? And of course what happened was that he experienced pure love, spiritual love. And as Baba has told us, love melts ego. And we see this also when, a person is in front of a small child. It's the purity of the child, the love of the child, the innocence, which attracts everyone. And at that moment, another person behaves like a child in front of the child. They start making funny faces, funny noises, because they want to feel like a child. And so for us, even though we are adults, but yet still Baba is guiding us back to that complete purity, and that pure love comes out, which makes people feel safe and secure. And I think these two words are pivotal. When a person feels safe internally and secure internally, then they are ready to drop their masks. They're ready to drop their arrogance, the coat of arrogance they're wearing, because they feel safe and they feel they have the permission to be themselves. And that is the wonder of pure spiritual love, which of course goes beyond all the categories of age and culture, nationality, religion. And we have been fortunate to observe that being displayed, not just by Bap Dada when he used to come and spend hours and hours with us, but also, of course, through human beings, through Dadis and senior brothers. We saw the wonder of that. Now, as we have passed through the cycle, we experience 3 different kinds of love, broadly speaking. So first half of the cycle, we experienced what we call as soul-conscious love. And then as we pass through the Copper Age and Iron Age especially, we experience the bitterness of selfish love, body-conscious love, love with conditions and expectations, terms and conditions, often in small print. And then right at the end of the cycle, we experience God's love. So we go from one extreme to the other. The bitterness of selfish love, which can cause the heart to close up and become very defensive, and then to experiencing God's love, which is the most powerful energy a human soul can experience. And God's love is like taking a multivitamin tablet. Now, many people take a vitamin tablet, a supplement, especially Brahmins, to improve their B12, or maybe D3, or this vitamin or that vitamin. But God's love is like a multivitamin tablet which contains everything that the soul needs to feel empowered. And some of those needs we are aware of. Other needs are subconscious. We don't even realize we have them. And those unfulfilled subconscious needs then become the cause of some kind of discord in our relationships. But God's love meets all those needs. So what kind of needs? Well, we have a need to feel respected, whether we realize it or not. We have a need to feel appreciated deep down. We have a need to be honored. My honor, my dignity should be taken care of. We sometimes have a need to receive attention. We may have a need sometimes to feel noticed. We may have a need to feel validated. We have a need to feel accepted. And sometimes we may have a need to feel admired in some way. So all of these subtle needs have existed in the iron-aged world and the iron-aged relationships which we've had either in this life or in previous lives. And those have left some kind of wound in the soul. So when Baba comes, or we come to Baba, the first title of ours, of his that we experience, the very first title of his that we experience is Dil Aram, the comforter of hearts. And so Baba tells us, whoever you are, however you are, I accept you and you belong to me. And we feel, oh, thank goodness for that. I don't need to act anymore. I don't need to pretend. Don't need to wear a mask to be accepted or feel useful. So Baba gives that to us, and we feel so full because of experiencing God's love. And having experienced that pure love of the Supreme Soul, we then want to pass it on and share it with others. Right? If you think about it, what drives Brahmins to do what they do? Sometimes the crazy things we do, getting up so early, sleeping late, so many programs, so much running around. What is the fuel that's driving us? It can be several things, but I would say the main thing is this, that the love we experience from Baba, we want others to experience it too. We want our sisters and brothers to feel free from their sorrow, their suffering, their stress. We want to find a way they too can connect directly to the source, and we become the intermediaries to be able to help them to experience it, so then their love for Baba grows. And that is the best job in the world. We take from the source and we distribute that love and benevolent feelings to everyone. And why is it the best job in the world? Because by doing that, we ourselves grow and come to the fullest extent of our potential. Our wings open fully, our angel wings open fully, and the salary is very, very high. Is she okay? Yeah. All right, good. Okay. We all slip sometimes. So this is the thing which runs through our lives, receiving God's love and then sharing that love with others. And we know that as we move along on this path, also challenges come to be able to generate and sustain that kind of love for others. That's also something we need to understand. We know that what we saw in the Dadis was a very high stage of pure spiritual love, benevolent feelings. But we are on the journey towards becoming our perfect self. So sometimes on the journey, you might experience your capacity to love a little bit reducing or a little bit stuck. And there, we then need to deploy the weapons of knowledge. So Gyan has to be used in order to clear the path and clear the heart. So once again, I am able to experience and share that spiritual love with others. So what has Baba told us about this? Well, he has given us the sword of knowledge, the shield of drama, and it is up to us to actively deploy these in our daily lives. And every moment is an opportunity to apply in our relationships and our lives. So for example, the purpose of knowledge is to be able to upgrade our attitude and our vision. These two things. And therefore change our perspective and our perception of a situation, of a person, or even of my own self. So let's say, for example, we may be in some challenging situation, and I'm feeling the love is drying up in the heart. Maybe there is some sanskar or some behavior or some soul that I find difficult. So, quick question. Do you have at least one difficult person in your life? Only one person put their hand. Oh, two. 3, 4, okay. Well, the rest of you, congratulations. But I think all of us have at least one difficult person. And is that person in this room? Is that person sitting next to you? No. Okay, no need to answer that question. But in the Lokik world, when somebody finds someone difficult, they say, this is not my kind of person, I'm out of here. But here, we say, this is exactly what I need. Give me more. So there is the opportunity to apply the weapons of knowledge. If you're surrounded by people who praise you, love you, say nice things to you, then be careful. But when we are faced with, and of course it's the experience of all of us, sometimes you have to work with or be with somebody whose sanskars are opposite to yours. But that's good, because that's going to cause me to apply Gyan in my life. The purpose of that is the practical application of truth. So there, Baba has told us, in order to open the heart again and feel that love, change your vision. So a simple example, let's say there is that sister, that brother who you find difficult, and in your mind you have labeled that person as difficult Brahmin, or difficult individual. So there, I have to change the labeling and instead write, my teacher. Take your pen out, write on the forehead of that person, my teacher. Yeah? So let's say there is somebody you find difficult to tolerate, and you're in some occasion, having a nice time, and that person comes into the room, You have to remind yourself, my tolerance teacher has just arrived. Okay. There's some other person you find difficult to be patient with. That person comes in. My personal patience tutor has just entered the room. So this, you're talking to yourself. Talking to yourself to change your vision. And when we do that, then Baba becomes very happy. When we pass through a challenging situation, but I have learned to make the change in myself, then what does Baba do? Baba does this. Well done, child. Well done, well done. Applause. But when we do the opposite, and our thoughts of blame or criticism go to the other, then what does Baba do? Baba does this. The child doesn't get it. Of course, he doesn't do that, but Baba is happy when we are applying the Gyan in our lives. And if you think about it, why have we come onto this path? It is to become angels. It is to become deities. It is to become free from our mistakes, free from our weaknesses. And we also have to be patient with yourself. It does take time until we reach that position. We don't yet have fully opened two wings of the angel. Sometimes you may have one wing and one horn at the same time. But there I have to have love for myself as well, knowing that victory is guaranteed. As long as I keep following Baba's guidance with an honest heart, with courage, really coming from the right place within myself, the results will come. Another useful thing I find with regard to using Gyan and keeping the heart clean inside is this, that it is easier to change your attitude than it is to change your feelings. So, simple example. Let's say there is a situation where something happened, somebody spoke to me in a way I didn't like, or I was excluded from a meeting, or somebody overlooked me, or the things which happen sometimes. So there, I can maybe take some sorrow from that situation. But if I allow those negative, hurtful feelings to sit in the soul, then they will go deeper and deeper inside. Then it is difficult to take them out. It takes a lot of work to remove those feelings from the heart and cleanse the heart of those bitter feelings. But rather than that, what we need to do is to quickly deploy the weapons of knowledge. And that means the moment you feel a bit negative, a bit upset, the moment you take sorrow, quickly use Gyan to shift your attitude and shift your vision. Therefore, not giving a chance for those painful feelings to go deeper into the soul. So what kind of points of knowledge can we use at that time? Baba has given us an assortment of points. So the most simple one is, use the shield of drama. Whatever happened, full stop, it was drama. In fact, once Baba had given this remarkable gift to us. In one particular Murli, Baba said, sometimes we have waste thoughts which become like strings, the strings of waste thoughts, and we tie ourselves up with strings of waste thoughts. And when you're tied up, the mind cannot move. you just feel emotionally stuck because I have created that web of waste thoughts for myself. Why this? Shouldn't be that. Why didn't they ask me? It was my turn. I am more experienced. I am older in Gyan, and why, etc. Then Baba said, I give you a pair of scissors to cut the string of waste thoughts. And that pair of scissors is this slogan he gave us. He said, whatever happened was good, whatever is happening is better, whatever is going to happen will be the best. And he said, use this pair of scissors, cut the waste thoughts, and you are free. Your mind is free. And again, you'll be able to feel the love. Then there's another pair of scissors from another Murli, but equally good. And it's another slogan. We all know that I am good, Baba is good, drama is good. I am good, Baba is good, drama is good. He said just to use this as a pair of scissors and free yourself from all that unnecessary thinking. And therefore, it is only when you are free that the love and the happiness is once again able to flow. And that energy of love will then come out of you and you will be able to share it with others. When we see the specialities of others, then the love increases. When we see the weaknesses of others, the love reduces. It's simple mathematics. Now, it's easy to see specialities in virtues in somebody who has a lot of specialities and virtues. So no prizes for that. But to be able to locate, identify, and give attention to the specialities in a soul who may have a lot of weaknesses, that is extraordinary. To know that, this soul has many weaknesses, many sanskars, but look at the quality this soul has. To focus my vision on that is also an act of spiritual royalty and spiritual mercy. Now we know that every single soul in this drama, every actor in this drama is here because they have something to offer. Otherwise they would stay in the soul world forever and ever and ever. There's no one there like that. But each soul is here because they have something to offer to the play. But especially the souls of the deity civilization have many, many specialities and qualities. So I find a useful exercise to do is whenever you are interacting with another Brahmin especially, just think in your mind, what quality, what special quality does this particular soul have? Why did Baba's vision fall on this soul? And so when you get busy in thinking about the virtues of that soul, automatically respect arises, good wishes arise, benevolent feelings arise. And then the challenge is to keep those specialities in the mind even when the weaknesses are being displayed. See the specialities in others and then steal them. Be a spiritual thief and develop them in yourself as well. And that's one way by which we can learn a lot from this amazing ecosystem called the Brahmin family. So spiritual love, benevolent feelings, it is also the great, great need of the world today. And we know that, Baba has told us many times in the Murlis, people's hearts today are empty and they are tired of selfish love. The first thing they experience when they step into Baba's house is the atmosphere of Baba's house and the spiritual love coming from all of us, Baba's children. Before even they hear a lecture or do a course, the attitude of acceptance, respect, kindness, belonging helps them to feel secure, helps their masks to drop. And then they're ready to listen to Gyan. I'll just do one more thing, then I'll finish. Another nice analogy I like is this, that when you go into, let's say you go into a department store and you see a nice jacket and you think, oh, it's a nice jacket to have. What department stores have is they have these mannequins, shop window dummies. And if you think, why they have these shop window dummies wearing all these clothes? What's the purpose here? Because when you see those being worn by a dummy, you think, oh yeah, that could look good on me too. You know, encourages you to buy it. So who are we? Baba's dummies. Huh? All centers are Baba's shops, as he has said. But when we wear the virtues, when we wear spiritual love, when we wear kindness, when we wear humility, then people see, oh, like this, look at this person, such a humble person. Look at him, so cooperative. Look at her, so sweet. They don't know Baba yet, but through Baba's children they get inspired. I want to be like you people. You know? And who's going to give the lecture? One person gives a lecture, but 5, 10, 15 other Brahmins who are also there are playing a very important part. Right? Because people want not just to hear a lecture, they want to see what are the relationships between these people. And when they see the love flowing between us, they feel inspired, I want to be part of this as well. And nobody can argue with that. People can argue with what you say, but they cannot argue with who you are and what they feel. And that's the power of spiritual love and benevolent feelings. Okay.
Om Shanti. So lovely to be here with a brother who exudes the love and the care. Many of us have had the chance to meet Yogesh over time, and I think I first met Yogesh back at the Peninsula Retreat Centre in Melbourne. Yeah, you visited there, and humorously at that time, one of Yogesh's roles was to entertain, and for that period of time used to come in and imitate some very famous yogis to our delight. And that was a special time. It's sort of stopped now, I think, as you've gone into the caring for the family side of things rather than entertaining.
Private performances only now.
Oh, it's still happening. Excellent. So coming, into the family at age 15 is pretty amazing to have all that spiritual love around at such a young age. That's quite incredible, because we all come here at different ages, and it's always appropriate, when we do come, but that's quite special. So the first question, building on that sort of unlimited love that Baba has and Brahmins have, is how come some people of the world have great love just for one person, perhaps for their child or a relative, but they don't seem to be able to have that love for everyone? What would be the reason for that?
Well, basically, for a mother and child, of course, it's a very personal, deep bond. The child has been in the mother, so the relationship starts even then. Well, it's limited love. It can be very deep love, but it's limited because they are seeing just the person, my child or my family member, but they're not seeing everybody else also as a family member, which is what we are being trained to do, is to, when you're soul conscious, whether it's a stranger or it's somebody at an airport or somebody you know, practicing seeing everyone as my brother or sister, a soul and a child of God. So our vision becomes unlimited, whereas theirs is still limited, and therefore the love only goes so far to certain people only.
Is that connected with the selfish love you're talking about, that always wanting something in return?
Yeah, it's there. That selfishness is there, but they may not even be aware of it. Because often, often when there are expectations, we don't realize we have them until those expectations are not met. So when there's a feeling of disappointment, then we realize there was an expectation. That's what happens in the Lokik world, is intense love can then change into intense dislike if the personal desires and expectations are not met.
And developing that pure love for others, you touched on seeing the specialities and the strengths in others, and I can relate to that working in the mental health field. We have a strength-based approach, it's called, where we work on the strengths of the client to build that part of the self up. And it does become a bit of an art form, doesn't it, to really delve into a complete stranger and try and see, I wonder what the speciality of that person is. What are they contributing to the world in a unique way? And you also touched on that sometimes we have those difficult relationships or connections, our teachers. Could you relate a situation in your life where you did have a very difficult person or connection, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, how much time have you got? I'm glad to have had some good teachers along the way. So one situation where, how can I depersonalize this so it remains kind of neutral?
Changes the gender.
Yeah. Anyway, let's say one particular soul was very good in something, and I was very poor in that particular thing. So when I would make a total mess in doing that thing, and this person was doing it very well, so I would feel bad anyway. I would feel useless, inadequate. But sometimes that soul would make it worse by sometimes publicizing it or laughing or, saying, sort of ridiculing me sometimes in front of others. So it was testing time to pass through. But then I did take it as a test for my swaman, for my self-respect. And I began thinking that this soul is just a mirror for me to see what is lacking in myself. And this soul is just an instrument for me to be able to check myself. So then I depersonalized what the other was doing, and I was just saying, okay, how do I feel when I receive a sharp criticism? Am I able to handle it? If a group of people is laughing at me, do I still maintain my dignity, or do I feel crushed, or do I react? So this way I try to see the lesson rather than the teacher who was giving the lesson. And as a result, I find I was eventually able to have good wishes for that soul, realizing that everyone is a mirror for you, to be able to check yourself. And if we did not have mirrors, how could I know where I am at? So that kind of became a life lesson. Still working on it, but that was the big takeaway from that particular scenario.
So having good wishes for the soul, have you experimented in Amrit Vela sending like a particular soul extra energy from Baba to help resolve some conflict before? I mean, in those situations, knowing that we're part of the situation, obviously, but have you ever experimented with that and seen a change in a circumstance or person?
I would say mostly my good wishes have been not in Amrit Vela. Mostly it's been during the time I'm with the person. But there have been a few occasions when, let's say I have a meeting on a particular day and I feel it could be a difficult meeting with this particular person. So then I've kind of prepared in the Amrit Vela by visualizing the individual and sending good wishes, loving feelings to the soul. And sometimes the meetings have become much more pleasant than I thought because of that extra energy, I think, that was sent at Amrit Vela. So it does work.
Yeah, lovely. So if we could take a little bit of a journey through the cycle now with some questions around that. So how is the love of the deities in the Golden Age different from human characteristics of today in Kali Yuga?
Wow, that's a big question. Well, of course, in the Golden Age, as we all know and remember, the love was just very natural. I mean, it's a being thing, not a doing thing. And it's a little bit like, when we first come to Madhuban, we've just traveled and, we've come through maybe a long journey. But what I find, and I think everybody finds, after a few days of being here, just the love in your heart is arising and you just feel like smiling at everyone. You go past someone, you're just smiling. What is that? Just sharing your love, sharing your good wishes with total strangers, because it's what you're feeling inside. And I think in Golden Age it's a bit like this, that we are so full of love that it's just an outpouring in our relationships with each other. It's like it's the fluid which exists between all of our relationships. There's no effort involved. It's automatic and natural because the heart is so full. And when the heart is full, then the mind becomes quiet. Yeah? And when the mind is quiet, intellect becomes very clear. So because here we experience the fullness of the heart on a very deep level, also that's what we experience in Golden Age. Iron Age, characteristics of Iron Age, of course, is an empty or a near empty heart. So when people come into relationship, interaction with others, it's coming from a place of need. And even though on the surface one may be very giving, very loving, very kind, but of course the small print is until you give me something back now, you behave as I want you to behave. So we may describe this as the Iron Age as the outside-in lifestyle, where we're trying to get respect, love, attention from the outside to make me feel good inside. And in Golden Age, we have learned the inside-out lifestyle. You experience the love inside you, and you just radiate it outside of you. And it's what creates harmony in the world.
Yeah, very lovely, thank you. Now the next one you may or may not have an answer to. This one's a bit curly. But as we go through the cycle now, we're heading in the end of the Silver Age and the start of the Copper Age, where there's a lot of devotion. There's the gods and goddesses, and us and people really feel that benevolence and love from the deities that they're associated with, that they may be praying to or worshipping, and they would feel that energy and that love and royalty from those souls. Many gods and goddesses as we look through, the Greek gods and goddesses, Egyptian, the Aztecs, there's so many. It was a living reality at that time. So the question is, have you thought about the connection between those deities and our Brahman lives now? As Baba says, we're remembered in various forms. Have you thought a little bit about how a Brahman acts and how that then translates into that worthy of worship form?
Curly one, you say? Yeah. Well, sometimes Baba calls us as the lawmakers or the ancestors. And it's at this time, of course, our ancestor role particularly is being played. It's at this time we are the roots of the tree. And then, of course, Gold and Silver Age, we are the trunk of the tree, and still nobody else is around. But I feel that the sanskar of giving and sharing and uplifting we have now touches so many souls. And they receive from the Brahmins now. And I think that dynamic of the deity souls as the devtas, the givers, and then the souls, the worshippers who come along in the Copper Age as taking, that dynamic re-emerges at that point. Because they have gone to the soul world with that sanskara tendency of taking from the deity souls, I think that same tendency emerges for them in the Copper Age. So it's automatic because of the impact of our actions now. It's so deep in us, and also of those who take from us, that it re-emerges even when Copper Age starts. That's my understanding. Of course, others may have better idea.
Yeah, lovely. A very, generous way to think about it. How, the energy flows from Baba through us to reach souls, and then they tap into that once again in the Copper Age. So moving through the cycle again now, we're in the Brahman birth, we're here, and with our loving family, which it's such a treat and honour to be around, isn't it? Looking at your journey, you would have been around Daddy Prakashmani and Daddy Janki, a lot of great seniors. Was there a particular senior that you thought, this is the one I'm getting so much from, and you sort of secretly had them on a bit of a pedestal and were learning from their great qualities? Was there one, and could you describe some of that learning?
You want my secrets, huh?
That's why you're here today.
Obviously, you mentioned Dadi Janki as, I was in London in UK, so I had many opportunities to be with her and learn from her and be inspired by her. So many scenes are there. And we could all talk, about all the Dadis who we've been with. But I would say one main thing I was really struck by in that particular soul, that particular Dadi, was the depth of care for so many over such a long period of time. That was really stunning. And once I remember she told us in a was an NCCC gathering downstairs in Manmohini complex. Maybe there were 400 of us there from all over the world. She said something like, I know the personal life stories of 90% of you. And she did, because she would help each person with their situation, their problem. And so I would think, how is it possible for someone to love and care for so many? So she really extended herself. Not just, spiritually, but even physically. And she'll ask her, how's your mother? And how's this? And how's that? And you think, how does she remember that? So that was, amongst many others, one of the main specialities I saw in her, like no limits to care. Another one was a great big brother for me, and example for many, who just passed away last year, was Nirebai. Also, who, to me anyway, seemed to put people first. So whenever you would go into where he stayed, his bhavan downstairs, you'd feel like, just relax, sit down, relax, and you're supposed to enjoy this life. So you'd feel cared for, you'd feel like he has time for you, he's not rushing you to finish. So that sort of care for the heart. And I was sharing the other day with somewhere else, I was in India, how, with whereby particularly he talks slowly, walks slowly, eats slowly, everything is slow. But yet he was responsible for establishing so many things, Global Hospital is a big part of his effort, many other things. So you'd wonder, how can a slow person do so much? I mean, to get things done, you have to be dynamic, on the ball, razor sharp. But I noticed over the years how when I may have been, a few of us may be in his cottage, as it were, somebody came in with a problem, and he would really listen to the person and understand their heart, and then give a response. And I thought that's one way to deal with difficulties and problems, not just listen to what's said, but listen to the feelings this one is experiencing behind what is said. And it's only if your mind is quiet that you can catch the spiritual need behind the person's behavior. So that was inspiring. Look after people's hearts, and then they will offer the best of them to the task or the project. So those two in particular, but of course many, many others.
Thank you for sharing that. So I think we have time if there's a question from one of you on the topic, sharing that love and benevolence, or it could be just a burning question that that Yogesh has that piece of information about. So we have a microphone there. Have a pause.
शिव पिता को अब याद करो, मुक्ति धाम तुम्हें जाना है। अपने सुकर्मों के बल पर ही सतयुग में तुमको आना है। शिव पिता को अब याद करो। ये संगम का स्वर्णिम युग है, शिव पिता फिर से आया है। ब्रह्मांक से शिव विकराल विनाश खड़ा आगे
अब हम सबका शिव पिता ने बतलाया है
शिव पिता को अब याद करो पांडव शिव शक्ति सेना की रणभेरी अब फिर बजती है
शिव बाबा के ज्ञान से फिर माया को मार भगाना है
शिव पिता को अब याद करो सतयुग में तुमको आना है शिव पिता को अब याद करो मुक्ति धाम तुम्हें जाना है अपने सुकर्मों के बल पर ही सतयुग में अब तुम्हें आना है
धाम में तुम्हें
सतयुग में अब तुम्हें आना है
धाम में तुम्हें जाना है
Om Shanti. During this journey as a Brahmin for 40 years, understanding what you have been sharing to us, we have seen that some souls, they are born like they have been blessed by Bab Dada to be able to give the spiritual love naturally. Their face and their behavior, everything so easy for them, and then we do take from them, they do sustain us, like blessed for giving this. And some category, Baba's children, they have been working on themselves, and finally, during the journey, they have been able to change, transform themselves to be able to give whatever you've been sharing. The spiritual love, to make people experience spiritual love. And some are still struggling, I would say. They are paying attention, they are struggling to do that. Or you call it putting effort to do that. But also we find some Baba's children, they don't see themselves as not being able to do it and not paying attention to really underline this service of giving palna of spiritual love. So the first is okay, the blessed one, and then, but the two I just mentioned, the one struggling or paying attention, making effort, and the last category, what would be your advice for that, for this category? Maybe in this hall we do have the two, some in the two categories, because the seniors you mentioned are okay, their journey has been like that, but many are new ones in front of you, lesser time in knowledge than you. Please advise on the two categories. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question. It is true that everyone and everything is, in Baba's words, number-wise. Everyone is different. Also important to know, I may be good in something, and somebody else is not so good in that thing. But also probably there's something else they are very good at, which I am not good in that thing. So each soul is different. But to come to the question, I think the important thing is to have I really recognized who I am and whose child I am? Have I really accepted that into my heart? Or is it just a word, a phrase, a title I hear in the Murli and enjoy? Because within the heart, we may still be carrying things from the past life and also this life which do not belong to Baba's world. And if I'm holding on to that, then it doesn't allow the new identity, the Brahmin identity, the angel identity, to really sit in the heart. So I would say that look at the titles Baba has given us, whichever ones touch you, and really go into those, absorb it deep into yourself. Even just a simple one, I am a child of God. Do I really feel it? Do I absorb it? Do I live it? Do I think like that? And these are free gifts Baba has given us, all these different titles of self-respect. Just place one into the self, allow it to do its magic, allow it to percolate into you. And this will raise the intoxication level in the soul. As Baba had said once, why is it that sometimes you have faith but you don't have happiness? It's because the faith has not changed into intoxication. Hindi speakers know faith nasha and intoxication nischay. So really to have that intoxication, I am a child of God, I am a child of the ocean of love, the ocean of peace. Take one title, be with it for a few days, be with it for a week. Think about it, experience it, practice it, taste it, churn it, write about it, so it goes deep inside you. And these are very, very powerful things which then are able to make a shift in our inner psychology, and therefore we are able to let go of the old identities which really no longer belong to us. I share one little example, if I may. Again, it's about Dadi, but it's an indication of how deeply she had absorbed what Baba tells her. I remember some years ago being in Beirut, many years ago actually, in Lebanon. And there was a retreat happening up in the hills in a hotel. And as you know, there have been civil disturbances, civil war in Beirut for some years. So one of the sisters was just pointing to Dadi, Dadi, last week there was a bombing over here, and last week somebody was assassinated over there, telling her these things. And then she said something which kind of surprised me. And she said, wherever I go, ashanti, peacelessness, is not allowed to be there. She did this, is not allowed to be there. Wherever I go, peacelessness is not allowed to be there. And I thought, wow, how can she say this? What gives her the right to say such a thing? Then I thought, she has so deeply absorbed it into herself. I am a child of the ocean of peace. Wherever I go, there will be peace. I thought she has that much absorbed what Baba has been telling her. So then I asked myself, have I really absorbed the things Baba is telling me? Or am I just playing with it, just, looking at what I've got? How deeply have I taken it inside me? And that potential is there for all of us. Whatever titles Baba gives, really experience them to full absorption, and it changes the energy in the heart, I feel.
Om Shanti. Sorry, we can't take any more question. So we are a bit late, and thank you very much, Yogesh Pai, and thank you very much, Damon. So you are Very lovely to share your, explore this topic of spiritual love and the feeling of belongingness. So a reminder, because 3:35, you're not going to chai usually we go to the dining room, fine, for the chai. But 3:35, you're going to come to Dadi Janki's park. So you'll have a chai and special chat with seniors. And also we have some fruits and juices and refreshments available. It's a different way, and it will be until 5. Hope to see you at 3:45 in Dadi Janki's park. Now you can have a nice meal and rest. Thank you. Om Shanti.
शब्दों में आपका धन्यवाद करें, किन शब्दों